Dork
No,
Trek.
I almost wore the checkered jacket or checkered shirt today, and I was like, "Oh, today's Tuesday. I can't do it."
I was gonna wear mine, and I have a black shirt that my friend Numi made back in the day. It must be 20 years old now. Just a black shirt, just says fanboy on it, and
Nice.
it's basically the reverse of Go Climb a Rock. So
Yeah.
so I was gonna wear that under mine, but I was like, hey, I did this cool like lower decks Nemesis thing, and I'm like,
Yeah. I like it.
maybe I'll just do that.
I like it. Show it off. Show what do we got going? What do we got going here?
Well, Star Trek, right? The big news last week was, oh, they canceled Lower Decks, which
Right.
just enraged me because they didn't fucking cancel Lower Decks. It's a
Right.
5-year series. Like, come on. It's just,
Well,
you
it's
know, they wanted
canceled in the respect
to
that they're
do
not
a
making more of it.
yeah, they wanted to do a big like, oh, it's all about discovery and Strange New Worlds is carrying it on, and that
So
dumb
true.
cartoon that you guys love and think is 100% Star Trek, it's just stupid and it's canceled. So goodbye. I'm like, whatever. Hey, Phil's here. Howdy, folks. Philbo Baggins. He threw the
Yeah, I
ring
love
in
Lower
the
Decks.
mountain.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys.
so that's when Boimler goes and he's on the Titan with Riker for a while, he's wearing those Nemesis era things, and I
Yeah.
was like, hey man, why don't they just do the ranks on
Yeah.
the other side and then do the lower decks thing, and then hey, you got another outfit you can wear. It's
Yeah.
it's lower decks era
I like
live
it.
action.
It's
So
good.
hopefully they'll just get what's his name, Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome to just fucking give up that Starfleet Academy bullshit and
Yeah.
just fucking give them a show.
Yeah. They
Have
should
them
be.
rescue Rios in the 22nd century and fucking
Mm,
stargaze everywhere and do a real fucking show instead of that Stargate Legacy
that
bullshit
would
with
be awesome.
everybody's leftovers.
What
Do
a
stuff
waste.
that
What a
fucking
waste of
works.
a character. They
Give that
wasted.
ship to fucking Rainer, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The guy with the beagle ears. I love that guy.
Mm,
Just because, oh, well, you haven't been watching Discovery, but
no.
they did a typical Discovery thing in season 5. They introduced a new character that's just 100% Star Trek and is trying to fucking Star Trek everything, and everybody's like, oh, well, what about our feelings? And he's like, I fucking need all I need to know from you. Get out of here. And it's just fucking fantastic. You're like,
Love
can
it.
we follow this guy? And they're kind of making him. There's a whole B story about, Tilly's like, oh, well, you have to meet the crew and, rub everybody's labia and make sure everything's fine. And he's like, no, everybody has 3 minutes. You tell me when I have to sit there for this, and we'll get everybody in and out in 3 minutes. And so they do this cool montage of like him going, tell me one thing that's not in your file because I read your goddamn file, and everybody's like flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And so they say ridiculous stuff that means nothing, or really important, like deeply held things that he just blows off. He treats everybody the same. And the awesome thing is at the end, like there's a quick reveal of extrapolate. Somebody goes, oh, well, I like cats. And he hears that. And he's like, all right, get out of here. I know all I need to know from you. And he extrapolates that that's a person that, is empathetic and all this bullshit that solves like
Right.
something. And so it was a cool Star Trek reveal that you think this guy's a blowhard and he just doesn't have time for your fucking Star Trek modern Kurtzman guitar stealing bullshit.
That's so fun.
And it's just fucking great because he's presented as Marilyn in the Munsters. Like he's the normal Star Trek guy, except he's the fuckhead in this crew. Right?
Love it. Yeah, that is a very Discovery thing to like add an actual Star Trek part and then like treat it as the outsider.
Taro's in it for like 3 seconds, and she comes in and just says like the ultimate Star Trek thing and leaves, and you're like, if you guys just followed these characters, we wouldn't be saying this is a dumb
Right.
show. Right? They
What a
would just
waste.
write some fucking Star Trek and all the Star Trek people are happy. All right, I'll get off of that because you haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm not
But
gonna see it. Let's be
but
real.
here's some Star Trek news. You know about Bijo and John Trimble, right? The
I
guys
have
who they orchestrated the Safe Star Trek at the end of the second season.
right. Yeah.
Those old guys. So John Trimble just died of old age. He was 87.
That's
He
too
died
bad.
yesterday, and I always thought that was funny because, like, I mean, I was following it sort of at the time. I was 9,
Okay.
so like it was just this funny thing. But even I remember it was all like, "Hey, look at this housewife in LA is saving a TV show,"
Yeah.
and she like as an adult, you could follow her on social media and stuff, and she would never stop saying in interviews and online and stuff that it not only was it John's idea, that she was just kind of like along for it, but she gets all the credit because
She gets all the credit.
that's
Yeah.
the story, right? Oh, look at
Right.
this cute little housewife making cookies and saving Star Trek, and so it was just cool to read her like one last time go, okay, I'm gonna say this one more time because he's dead now. It's his fucking idea. Will you give him some credit? And so people are. It's kind of cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely always been presented as she was the leader. That's funny.
Look at this. I say so. Oh, I say something, and I'm prescribed being a genius. It's wonderful.
You should try.
I'm like Trump
being
this
a
way.
writer, you know.
You should be poor Mimi, man. Like I basically write how I talk, so that's cool if you have time to read it. But if you're listening to me have a conversation, I sound deranged, and I'll be like, hey, but wait a second, I'm coming around, and this will be good because this is all going to be tied together at the end. And she's, I don't care. You lost me. You're in a boat, and you went out that way, and I'm just going to wait here until you come back. And I'm like, all right, that's good. Yes, now he takes it back. I don't have to be Trump-like in my narcissism.
I mean,
although that's why I told that story. Can you imagine being married to somebody like me and just be like,
no,
he's got to get it out. I'll just fucking do like fuel consumption reports in my head or something until he stops talking about how many lights there are in Cardassia or fucking whatever.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, no, I have no intention of watching Discovery.
Yeah.
I haven't even pretended to turn it on. Like I just like I watch Paramount Plus all the time. Like
this is my new thing. Our guy Matt Kozer at Kozer Mart. I was on there because I'm like, hey man, I need a new uniform. I'm running out of stuff that I want though. Like
right.
I could really go for that cool like Eisenhower jacket from The Cage when Captain Pike is the strip bar owner.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that other guy with a Starfleet jacket.
Yeah.
Like olive drab kind of.
Yeah.
Fuck, I want that jacket so bad. Anyway, Kozumar could never make it because it needs to be like backed with something, and they like that T-shirt stuff, which is fine. I'm not complaining. It's just there's particular thing like they could never do the.
That's not their shtick.
Yeah, like the plastic vest, in the Sol Creature one. They flip the guy over. He's got all that modeling on his thing, and he's got that cool vest with the numbers on it.
Yeah.
I could go for that vest, but like it's made out of like marine vinyl or something, right? So they could never make it. Anyway, I was on their site, and even they were like, they put the pic of all the Discovery uniforms, the new ones that like super like Babylon 5, and with a black stripe down the side.
Yeah,
and they go, does anybody care about these? These are not a good seller. And I was like, no one cares because that show is terrible.
It's just and this is an old conversation, but it's just surprising how bad they are. Like little details, like uniforms. Like uniforms have to be cool, and they're not. Like there's nothing cool about Discovery uniforms from season 1. I mean, onwards. It's just I don't know. Anyway,
one thing, I mean, can I talk about this though? Because I love the uniforms.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed in this last episode is that they showed it from the back, and the back hem is asymmetrical as well.
Mm.
Like there's a seam down the spine, and
Okay.
so at the bottom it's a little of this, right?
Uh-huh.
And front it looks stupid,
Why would you
right?
do
But in the back, it's just ridiculous. It
that?
doesn't.
Right.
It's not a design element that is
What's
a
the point
form
of
follows function thing at all, which is what a uniform is, man.
Yeah.
It has to be movable, breathable. Like that's why I love the TOS things. It's a fucking shirt and fucking pants,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
they put little things on
Yeah.
the stuff to look. It's the
We're
future,
on.
and there's a hidden zipper. That's awesome, but it's a shirt and pants, which
Yeah.
are what BDUs are, right?
Yeah.
You put all your gear on top of it afterwards, and that's cool. And I sort of like that about Generation because this third season on, because it's a shirt and pants, but all your equipment has been sort of futurized from what we're used to.
Yeah.
So your communicator's a little insignia, and it's all that fucking works too,
But
right?
even then, they have holsters for their guns, you know?
Right, and the tricorder and stuff, they
Yeah.
had little doodads. But that's cool too because it's like it's the same thing design wise. It's an antecedent for those web belts that they had in the cage, right?
Mhm.
You have a belt, you put your gear on it. It's a shirt and pants when you're in the ship, and then you go somewhere and you get your gear, right?
Yeah.
And that just makes all the sense in the world. Like you've had jobs where you worked outside, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you had what you wore, and then you had your gear with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's going to be raining. Sometimes you need a toolbox. Sometimes you got just a tape measure. What the fuck ever. But you know what I mean. And then I almost call it Babylon 5 because of the things. But in Star Trek Discovery, they just it's all afterthought. It's like, well, we're going to sell toys. It's like, guys, you're not selling toys. So having a stupid thing with like, SWAT gear with arrowheads all over it, nobody wants to buy it because that's not a cool design and they're not doing anything cool in that. Like when I was geared up in this yesterday, I was like fooling around and changing the insignias and changing the color of the shirt underneath or the department stuff, and it's just like that's a thing you can do with all of these things where the components are kind of the same, right? And this is like nothing about it reads like Star Trek.
Well, they're trying to mimic the Monster Maroons and like the kind of more formal like jacket, right? But they're bad. I don't know. They're just bad.
I just would never think that because the Monster Maroons are so clearly like 19th century British,
Oh yeah,
the flap and the fucking thing over the shoulder and all the fucking bling on the ranks.
If the Monster Maroons were navy colored, like it would just be out of a 19th century.
Right.
Like
yeah, you could put them on an aircraft carrier and you'd go, all right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Looks like he's in charge.
I guess that's like the Exeter. They have their own insignia for some reason. I don't know. Did you you didn't put yourself through the torture of listening to me babble that one episode where it was just me talking? Because I kind of go off on my the one you had
last week or whatever. Yeah. I did not.
I went off for like trust me, you're not missing anything. But it's a little Bill Burry because I went off for like 15 minutes about my philosophy about why the Exeter thing means so much to me and why I personally insult it. And people go, hey, that thing that you see that's right there, that isn't there.
I'll have to listen.
It didn't mean to be there, and it's all just this big error. And why that offends me so much.
Yeah, I'll have to take a listen.
I was going to clip it, but then I at the end I said some nice stuff about Nancy, so I clipped that instead.
Oh, fair. Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah, we're up to date. That's all the news that I could get. They canceled Lower Decks, and John Trimble died.
Yeah,
like that's amazing.
There's been a lot of news, not news, but like chatter, I suppose, about Discovery is like the most watched streamed show. They do this every year. Every single year, they come out with some bullshit metric and Discovery happens to be number one, and they all lose their shit. And it's all nonsense.
Does that work on people?
I don't know. I don't think so.
The only people
who care are the ones who are already watching.
The people that I only hear talking about it are the people that are like laughing behind their hands. Like,
right?
Did you see that?
Right.
Because it's all like you said, the actress they choose is always something that it's a category of one of Star Trek Discovery.
Right.
It's like Star Trek Discovery is the streaming thing that begins with an S and ends in Y.
Ends in Discovery. Yeah.
Right. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's always something that lame. Yeah, but so, I mean, that has to work on somebody somewhere for them to keep doing that.
I don't know who like it would work on. I literally think it's just part of the echo chamber. It's like, yeah, one more thing for the echo chamber, you know?
Yeah. Because the only other thing I can think of is some sort of unsophisticated other, you know, international sales thing. Like okay. You know, Caraco and Tobango, you know, whoever wins ping pong in the Olympics every 4 years is like, maybe we'll try Star Trek, huh?
Right.
Oh, that was the other thing. The reason I said that is because there was one more bit of information. This is so awesome. There's a Museum of Maritime History in one of the tiny Aleutian Islands up in Alaska, and they have this new guy from St. Louis who shows up, and he's the library event coordinator guy. He's like, you know what? This fucking place needs a Star Trek convention. And, you know, it's in this tiny Aleutian island where they have the regional library that serves, you know, 1,000-mile radius. You know, Dutch Harbor, where all the crabbing thing is. Yeah, this guy, they put a Star Trek convention on there. So
that's awesome.
With any luck, you know, the guys from, you know, Dangerous Crab or whatever that show is called, is you know, they're out there like getting drunk and yelling at each other, and then they come into port and go to a Star Trek convention.
That would be awesome.
I agree.
We should go. Yeah, Dutch Harbor. There's a big World War II battle that happens there. And it's like the only thing that happens ever. Yeah.
When that show first started, me and Mimi probably watched the first 3 or 4 years like a religion. We love that show. Everybody's dying of cancer because I drank 15 Red Bulls for breakfast and smoke cigarettes until dinner time, right. And then sleep once every 3 days, and then like they die, and everybody goes, "Jeez, how come we're losing captains?" Like, it's not they're not taking care of themselves. That's why.
Yeah. Pretty
Even Chris Strang has a kettlebell, man.
Does he?
That's what I heard.
Oh, that's some spicy tea. The only other Star Trek related thing I have is I forgot to bring the ship. So there's a 3D modeling company that was doing customized Star Trek Online ships.
I remember.
This is different from Eagle Moss. Eagle Moss has like the fancy metal ships. This is like 3D printed. But they're pretty cool, and you can customize them and everything. And well, they went out of business in October, and they put out a thing saying we will accept all orders until the end of October. Well, they got flooded with orders, and they were like, look, you got to give us 6 months to do all these orders. So, okay, 6 months comes around and no one has heard anything. They finally start pumping out orders in March. Yeah, March.
Okay.
It's now the end of April, and they're starting to email people and be like, hey, we're never going to print your order. We promise we will refund you in May. So everyone's flipping out like, oh my God, I bought $1,000 worth of spaceships. What the fuck, you know? So people are talking about like suing them and everything. And I'm like, you guys are nuts, but,
they're out of business already. What are you going to do?
Well, they're out of business, and they're like, we have a hard deadline of April 30th. Like, we can't do anything after April 30th. So yeah, that's the only other Star Trek related thing I got.
That's
I only
interesting.
spent $100, so I'm only at $100, but still,
I,
they're
you
really
know,
good. I have one somewhere.
I don't know what everybody thought was going to happen, right?
Right,
I
right.
mean, if you order $1,000 worth of stuff, like the
To a
the
company
fact
that's
that they're
going out of business.
going out of business,
Right,
I mean, they can't produce it in the first place. So,
right,
you know,
right,
I
right.
mean, I guess it kind of makes sense in the if you think just throwing up money at problems solves things.
Sure.
And it must have been really attractive to them. Wow, we just got this influx of money. Maybe we
Right,
can solve all our problems. So maybe that's what the whole like 3 month thing was. They're like, oh, maybe this
right.
saves the company. And they're like, no, it's just a shit show.
I mean, it's kind of a bummer because they're customized ships, so you want like the USS John Price, whatever. But
How big
yeah,
are they?
they're. I'll find one. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Well, the reason I asked is because I went, oh, look at that great jacket he has, though. The reason I asked is because that's a cool thing if they print, USS John Price, NCC 2034 or whatever on it. That was a cool thing in the last Discovery.
So
Anyway,
like this is like the normal sized
gotcha.
one, right?
Uh,
And this is like customized paint job, name, stuff like that. So like the Eagle Moss ones are like this size, right? So this is Eagle Moss. This is the game print 3D version.
so it's roughly the same size,
It's pretty similar.
75%.
It's
Yeah.
it's close enough. Yeah. Close enough to
The
have fun in your head,
I don't want to, give you false hope or anything, but if they have a hard stop at April 30th, that sounds like maybe some other company has the license to do this.
Well, I think they're like this is as far as we can go. Like this
That's
is
what
as
I
far as
mean,
we
though.
can
That like on
go.
April 30th, May 1st, the other company gets
Yeah.
to do it.
Well,
Hopefully,
the problem is they've been offering this service for years, but nobody ever did it. And then they say they're going out of business and they get influx of all these orders.
oh, I got you. Yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
that's about
Huh.
it. If
Well,
I knew, I wish what I want them to do, I want them to release the files. Like, give me the file of my order and I'll have fucking Tiffany print it. You know? Like,
the paint job is the hard part, though.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's like
That's what I was
super
interested in.
detailed,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
I don't even know how
Like,
they would
yeah.
do that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck they do it.
What what was that ship? What did it say?
This is the USS Richmond,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
NCC 1408. 91408.
is that your zip code or something? No, nine
This
is
is
California.
9 is the canonical code, so like
Yeah.
this ship, like they all start with
They
9.
start with nine, right? Yeah.
And then 1408 is yes, something very similar to our zip code. Yes. But yeah, I mean, this is Richmond, this is where I'm the
Yeah.
captain and she's the science officer, and now we got 2 little ensigns on the way.
Aw.
Aww. Anyway,
Speaking of two little ensigns, Chris Sagasag, the mother of a family of otters,
nice.
says what I miss.
Well, you
Nothing.
missed
Just us shooting the shit.
talking about Discovery. I hate Discovery so much. I have not watched Discovery, and instead I rewatched Andor because I never finished it, and now I'm currently watching Obi-Wan because I never finished it.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's how much I hate Star Trek Discovery.
Couple of good. There's other good stuff on too. Like we're cracking through Shogun right now.
I heard that's really good. Yeah,
it's a lot better than I had
yeah.
hoped.
There's a guy on Twitter. He's an army guy who loves Star Trek, and he's been making a pretty strong case that Shogun is a more appropriate analogy for the Klingons.
Oh yeah,
the idea of a shogunate, that sort of thing. And it's a pretty good. He makes a really convincing case. Instead of like, don't think of like whatever people think of when they think of Klingons. Like, it's not Chancellor, it's Shogun. That sort of thing.
back in the day, though, I mean, it was very clear they were supposed to be Cold War Russians, but by the time you get to Next Gen, they were clearly supposed to be samurai.
Yeah,
I mean, just look at their costumes and stuff. It's all very
all the honor and family, all bullshit. Yeah, absolutely.
all that bullshit that Western civilization doesn't give a shit about.
Whatever. I'm in the middle of teaching about World War II. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Oh man, my kid's getting up to in his AP history class. He's getting up to the Cold War, and the space race, and he's just spitting facts. And his teacher's like, "Yeah, are you really interested in this?" He's like, "Oh no, my father is." He just won't shut up about it.
I just grew up with this. That's fine.
Yeah,
I've been brainwashed.
It's like the one that got him is like, "How do you know who Francis Powers is?" And
that's
like,
awesome.
Oh, he's the YouTube pilot guy.
YouTube pilot guy. That's amazing. That's if someone
like,
said that in my class,
like, the X-Men have a flight. It was just really funny.
I would just be like, "You have an automatic A," like that,
right?
Like nothing I can do, So yeah.
So you can't really see Toodles, but can you hear her? She's
Toodles. Yeah, I hear him.
She's getting kind of old. So I had to build some stairs so she could go up onto the table that she's not supposed to be on.
Little kitty stairs.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we got going on here today. Shogun's really good. What else are we watching? Oh, we liked Manhunt.
Love Manhunt. Yep.
I didn't like Patton Oswalt so much, but
it's it can be distracting.
I had to do a little mental gymnastics, but you figure back in the day, like, they weren't all Aaron Eckhart in Battle Los Angeles.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They were all schlubs, right? So one of them was going to look like Patton Oswalt, I guess.
Right.
And once I did all that, I'm like, all right, whatever, Pat.
And he doesn't ham it up. Like he's
he's actually fine.
Yeah, he's actually like good in it.
I just I'm so overexposed to because I like the genre stuff, and that's all he does.
You don't like him to begin with, so that was.
He's fine. I love his stand-up. I just don't need him voicing MODOK and fucking Starhawk and every fucking. Come on, man.
Right.
Like,
he's the go-to nerd,
Yeah.
But I thought the main guy who plays Seward did a really great job in that. Tobias.
Oh, in Manhunt, yeah, that guy's great.
Yeah,
he was in John Carter. He was one of the
he's in a lot
of helium guys. He was in Rome. He was Julius Caesar in Rome.
Yeah,
or not Caesar. Mark
Brutus.
Antony.
He's Brutus.
Oh, Brutus. One of
in Rome. Yeah, I just rewatched Rome too. So
yeah, we watched that during the coronavirus. Walker loved that. I thought you were going to tell me the military guy was going to say that Shogun is like a good Star Trek episode.
Oh yeah, he loves it. He's like, yeah,
it kind of is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he loves it. Yeah.
But it's more like Tarzan in New York. So it's like if Kirk like showed up in the Klingon homeworld,
right,
and had to like do his cowboy diplomacy thing on the fly.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Blackthorn, the Richard Chamberlain character. The actor's name is something awesome like Cosmo Banana Cakes or something like that.
That's awesome.
And it stopped us dead yesterday when we saw the news. I mean, saw the credit roll because Walker's like, "That's cooler than Nick Blood," who was this actor who played Lance Hunter on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
you're like, are you kidding me? He plays this rugged guy named Lance Hunter, but his real name is Nick Blood.
His real name is cooler. Yeah.
His press was always funny because that was when that Batman movie was out with Heath Ledger. So he would just answer. Everybody would be like, Nick Blood, and he would answer like differently every time, like why his parents named him that. But the best one was like, yeah, they were hoping I'd like grow up to be a vampire detective.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm like, yeah, you would end up with some funny answers after a while.
I
If
love
your
it.
name was Nick Blood.
Cosmo Jarvis.
Cosmo Jarvis. That's it.
Yeah.
So we were like, come on,
Great
Cosmo
name.
Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, up. Cat's walking on the keyboard.
Nice.
Back from call. What I missed.
Little kitty.
Cosmo Jarvis. Watch a few episodes of Shogun. Love what I saw. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm looking for something else to watch now. There's just too much good stuff. It's like, Ferrari, maybe I'll get to it. Rebel Moon 2, I guess I gotta contractually obligated to watch that.
I didn't know they were making a Rebel Moon 2.
Yeah. When they did the first one, they made a big deal about saying it was part 1 and the second part was coming out in April.
They did it real quick, I guess. Yeah.
I think they just shot it all at once, right? And it was coming out in April because they have to do all that post production on
that would make sense.
Special effects.
Yeah.
Oh, Sega saw Ferrari was so good. Yeah, that's what I hear. The one thing that we almost never have a misfire, like we can always find something to like, and if it gets two of us, the other one will just eat it because we make Mimi watch Cocaine Bear, so she wants to watch something. Okay, that's cool. It all works out. But all three of us watched. I don't even remember what this was called. Pretty Things. Is that it? With Mark Ruffalo and Emma Stone, all made up ugly. It's like a if Frankenstein was in the 1900s, but she was a girl.
Oh.
And it was horrible. We watched like the first 20 minutes, and nobody wanted to tell the other two that it was just horrible. They just thought the other two were enjoying it, and they were like, "All right, I'll eat this one." Except all three of us were doing that at the same time until I finally went, "Hey, do you guys like this?" And Walker instantly was like, "No, oh my god." And Mimi's like, "Yeah, well, let's watch something else." Ripley was pretty good. You know what we're thinking of getting onto is Sugar, that Colin Farrell detective show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sounds like you're working too hard. You have no TV to watch.
I am working too hard. It's true. Now, granted, I get the summer off, but whatever.
Walker said that to me today. He's like, 1 more week of lacrosse practice, and I'm going to play Assassin's Creed until September.
Yep. All right.
I'm like, well, good job. I wish that for you. I don't think mommy's going to let that happen.
No, not at all. It's interesting because people don't want it's very easy to make fun of teachers and be like, oh, you get summers off, you get all these days off, right? But also every single day we're babysitting mentally deranged kids for 8 hours. So
I don't see how teachers
no break. I don't eat lunch. There's no break. So
you don't eat lunch?
No, because it just keeps going.
What are you doing during lunch?
Well, we have kids in our room during lunch.
Do they not eat?
I physically could do it, but it's just there's just people there all the time.
Do they? Is it like homeroom or register or whatever you call it? What do you?
Yeah. So to come back.
Aren't you guys in a union? Doesn't that seem like you should be able to fucking have 10 minutes?
This is a right to work state. Thank you very much.
I gotcha.
So yeah. Anyway, I mean it's fine. I'm not mad about it. It's just all right. I don't want to talk about anything when I get home.
Yeah, I gotcha. Mimi works like that, but she just she doesn't talk because she still has work to do.
Right.
So it's like, oh my god, how are you living your life?
Yeah. I'm not claiming it's a difficult job. There are way more difficult jobs.
Oh, I'm not making any kind of judgments like that, man.
But people do. I mean, people make that.
Well, fuck those people. A drag is a drag.
I agree with them. It's not, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 6. But it's a 6 for 8 hours every single day. Whereas a normal job, you're oh, I'm gonna shut my door to my office for an hour and not do anything, you know.
I
Anyway.
don't. I didn't. I don't really deal with this now, but back in the elementary school and junior high days, I would be going on all the field trips with them,
Yeah.
and it was like, 3 or 4 hours of just like getting in a bus and going to a museum and keeping track of people, and then getting everybody on the bus, and then that's that. You go back to school, right? I would have to take 3 days off to recover from that.
Yeah. It's awful. Yeah.
And all the teachers are just like, yeah, just fucking another Tuesday.
It's another day.
We're going somewhere else tomorrow, And
yeah.
And it's just like I don't see how teachers do it. I just don't. It's insane.
So I hope they really integrate this into the Starfleet Academy show. Just the absolute hatred that teachers have.
Well, they probably have one good, Tig Notaro type teacher.
God, I hope so.
Right,
Man.
and they come in and
can we do a top 5 wasted characters or actors? Tig Notaro, Rios, Allison Pill.
Okay.
Captain
Tavington, definitely.
She's a great actor, and they just didn't do anything. Who else?
Captain Tavington.
Tavington, absolutely. Great actor.
You know what? I would say Doug Jones was wasted too.
Doug Jones is wasted. Okay.
Because
can we go with Michelle Yeoh? She's been wasted. They killed her in the first episode of Discovery. I mean,
that character is so goddamn weird. It's like I was watching the Ready Room with Doug Jones, and he's saying all this stuff about the arc that Saru was on, and how and I was just like, I guess, but none of that was very interesting, man.
Right.
And it was like, I remember when he was a creature of fear, and then like he had his little fucking feathers that came out, and then he's action guy, and I was like, that was all nonsense.
Yeah.
I remember all of that. That's why I hate this show.
Yeah.
But
it was all terrible. Yeah. All terrible decisions. So I think that's a good top 5, couple honorable mentions,
Yeah, there's somebody else too.
I'm sure there's lots of people. Admiral Cornwallis, she's a cool actor, but she was wasted.
Is that the chick from Letterkenny?
I think so. Well, it was the admiral in like.
The captain. She was captain of the Enterprise in the first episode.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Pike's side piece.
Yeah.
I think she's pretty good.
Cool. She's cool.
Yeah. I liked her in Letterkenny. She's bananas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Elementary. That's
kind of dead for Star Trek news. And if you're not watching Discovery, then there's no hate even.
Yeah. I mean,
dude, you would just cry because whenever anything starts to happen, like it's always on a scene with 2 characters, and one of them stops it dead and goes, "Oh yeah, we're having this crazy crisis. There's a hull breach, and there's people crawling in, and there's pirates, and there's orgies and shit." But let me tell you, they just don't have good tri-tip and replicators anymore, and then they go close, and there's just like a little glycerin tear going down Book's face or something, and you're like, "What, dude? The fucking start of the scene was action." And you're having a conversation about how you feel in the middle of it. Happens literally every time.
I hate that character so much. Book. I hate when they introduced him. It was awful. Every time they tried to do anything, it was awful. Wilson Cruz has been getting a lot of praise online. Again, I don't know what for, but people have been praising Wilson Cruz as a good actor.
I think one of those. Remember what happened in the beginning, and Mike Okuda was like, "Hey, there's nice people working on this. You should be cool."
Yeah,
everybody's trying their best. I think that's what it is. I think Wilson Cruz is a really cool guy.
Yeah,
because like the last episode, he gets taken over by somebody and who's using his body to walk around like a Sargon thing, right? And then at the end, they go out with like he looks down, and he goes, "Oh yeah, this body's like pretty fucking jacked." And it's just so like, so obviously Wilson Cruz going, I work out all day long.
Right. Look at me.
So let's give me a line about this, right?
That's funny.
And they did. And it's like, this isn't really a Star Trek thing, you guys.
That's so funny.
Star Trek thing is like, hey, I get this red robe on with a little insignia on the side, and I'm walking down the hallway without my shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, like, not like, ooh, look at me. That's not a Star Trek thing.
At this point, that's pretty
why
close
not
to Star Trek, I like Sagasag's idea. After Starfleet Academy, they have Garrett Elementary.
What's Garrett Elementary? What is that?
Rachel Garrett.
Oh, Rachel
Garrett Elementary.
Oh,
and then after that, we knew Cochrane High. They better hire me for Cochrane High because I will fucking own that shit.
That was something I had on yesterday too. Maybe some YouTube thing during lunch. It was this whole thing breaking down like Zephram Cochrane, and the end of it is Brandon Braga just basically going, "Yeah, we didn't really pay too much attention."
I love it, dude. Brandon Braga interviews are the best.
Like how old? Yeah, it didn't matter.
Brandon Braga interviews are the absolute best because he does that. He's like, because he's so venerated by like TNG fans and like Voyager fans, and like whenever I was like, yeah, whatever, like we were high on coke and we just wrote, like Ron Moore and I were just in the room just coked up, and now came Generations,
I know what it was though when I was watching. Speaking of Generations, yeah, that's the first one with they broke down all the troubled production, and so that's why I was fooling with this uniform, because it was all like they were explaining why all the uniforms were all fucked up.
Yeah,
and it was because they redesigned uniforms, and then at the last second they were like, yeah, these aren't working. But they actually photos of the Playmates action figures.
I had one of those. I had one as a kid. Yeah. With the like gold thing, and like the pips were on the side. Yeah. I definitely had one.
Basically, the main thing is the collar that comes up wasn't black. Yeah. It was a department color.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And then the ranks and stuff.
I wish it had worked.
But so then they were like, yeah, we're not doing that, but now they don't have a backup, right? And so they had just changed all the uniforms at Deep Space Nine, and now they're changing them again to this stuff for like Nemesis era, right? Or is it? Am I getting that mixed up? I don't know. But they basically had a thing where like Dorn and Frakes were wearing stuff from Cole Meany and Avery Brooks.
Yeah.
And that's why their uniforms kind of don't fit. Yeah. And Riker's got his sleeves all pulled all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
They were like way too short on him.
Yeah.
And so they would wear Deep Space Nine jumpsuits with the old insignia, the old communicators with the round things on it.
Yeah.
And so I do that all the time when I wear my Deep Space Nine one. I'm like, no. I like the old one better.
Yeah, there's mixing and matching going on. I mean, but they do that in TNG all the time. There's the ones with the collars. There's the ones without the collars. There's the skin tight ones. There's the not skin tight ones.
Have you seen that guy he's called Obsessive Costuming Dude? And he will go off for like thousands of words about that very thing. Like, here are the two different uniforms that Dr. Crusher was wearing during the shoot of this one episode.
That's awesome.
And then I'll have two pictures, and you will have to look at it for like 3 minutes to see what's different.
Any difference? Yeah.
And he's like, "This is wildly different. Look at the pips; is different." And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Just really like, is that a different thing, or is that just like a human being hitting the sewing machine, kind of just like over there when they were making it? You know what I mean? It's like. Yeah.
And I also wonder about the lighting. I think the lighting fucks up a lot too, because like sometimes the blue uniforms look green, sometimes they look really blue. Anyway, it's all good.
It's all true.
All true. Star Trek.
The red,
like
red stuff is really cranberry, but it looks red with under the lights. Yeah, yeah. Everybody will fight about that.
Yep.
Not just me. Best guess it. Me neither.
As long as
that jacket. That jacket looks great. That looks like a jacket that Scotty would wear.
I'm ready to go. Beam me up, Admiral Murrow. Enterprise
You
rides
definitely
in.
look like you're putting down on some planet where because you don't have all the bling,
Oh
and they're
yeah,
like, there's no identifying marks. Yeah, that's pretty distinctive suede jacket though, man. No,
I
I
know.
just stole this off some Starfleet guy. I don't have
Oh yeah, I just just some Starfleet guy. No big deal.
anyway.
Good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, sorry about how dead it is. Like usually my energy is like right up there, but it's just
You're
Star
fine.
Trek kind of blows. I'm
Yeah,
sad
it's
about
just
it.
a shame that like Discovery still exists.
It's almost over. I
Almost,
mean, it's
almost.
like,
I think I'll watch the finale because they reshot the finale. I
oh,
think
did
I'll watch.
they?
Yeah,
I hope they added a bunch of shit to try to make it make sense and it
I
made
hope
it
so.
worse.
I hope so.
The thing I hate about it is that like they don't have a mission statement, right? Like
No,
Star Trek has the best mission statement of all time.
boldly go.
And right, I mean, it tells you what is going on there, right?
Mhm.
These are the voyages of the guys in the ship, and here's the shit that we fucking do.
Yeah,
And it's going to be about 5 years. Maybe we'll do another 5 years in the movies or something.
yeah,
But it's pretty clear, right?
yeah.
And in this one, I say all the time, like, what do these people want, and why are they doing it? You know,
Yeah,
and the answer to that every season is, oh, here's a season-long mystery box answer,
right.
and that's.
That's
But
what they
dude, that's not why they're doing what they're doing. That's not what they want. That's just the fucking MacGuffin.
right.
And so that's what's happening this year is the progenitors left this thing and this Romulan guy found this 800 years ago. Thank God we have people who are 800 years out of time to contextualize this thing for us. And it's in 5 pieces, and we have to go around in each 5 pieces and put the puzzle together and get the map to find where Luke Skywalker is. And why don't they just turn on? I mean, none of it
So,
makes any sense.
Larry, as a writer, maybe you can help me articulate
Larry.
this, right? But it's like the mystery box style of storytelling. They confuse the plot for the story, where it's like the plot of a story is A happens, B happens, C happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
The story is the overall message, the overall uh, lesson. I don't know. I don't know how to articulate this. Maybe you can. Does that make any sense to you?
No, absolutely. I mean,
Confusing the plot of the story.
I always look at it like the plot is what happens, but the narrative is the characters and situations and how they deal with each other, right?
Right.
And so there's lots of overlap on that Venn diagram, but there's stuff that also
Sure.
doesn't overlap, right?
Right.
And I think that's the bit that Secret Hideout guys kind of gloss over really. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, it was like it's like the way I think about it, like the story is, character finds themselves, right? The plot is character has to go rescue the princess and destroy the Death Star, and does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there's what you learn along the way, right? What kind of storytelling is also like what are you doing there, right? Which is what I
Right.
don't get from Star Trek, right? The old show was always a morality play. Like
Yeah.
this. I'm not,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but this
A
is kind of
radio show.
the thing that leaves me so nonplussed about modern Star Trek is like, how did these people not understand that, right?
Yeah,
So
it's not subtle.
I'm not saying that they have to do the same thing in the same way, but like Star Trek has to be about something, or what are you doing?
Right.
Right? Star Wars doesn't have to be about something because it's a fairy tale. A fairy tale is its own context, right? And so the bad guys are bad. They twirl their mustaches. The good guys win. But that's not Star Trek. Star Trek is like to be, and Spock going or not to be, Captain, and McCoy going, fucking A, man. You know what I mean? And that's I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and
that's a different narrative setup.
To your point, it's frustrating for us because Star Trek is not a subtle paradigm. It's not a subtle formula, right? It's like, hey, we're going to go explore this issue through a sci-fi lens. That's it. And then we do that for 26 episodes. Like so, like when Discovery or I know you guys like Strange New Worlds, and they do a better job of this than Discovery, but Discovery doesn't do this at all. They're just like, oh yeah, and now we have a gay character. It's like, okay, but that's meaningless without a story. And a story is not the plot. The plot is you have a gay character now. That's not the story, though. I don't know. I'm having a hard time trying to
No, you're doing it exactly right. That's what they don't get, though.
Okay.
Is that they don't understand the distinction between that, right? Plus, oh my God, how heavy-handed is all that gay stuff, right?
Well, sure. Right.
It's like, dude, of all shows, right?
Right.
Okay. That maybe that works on, friggin' Off the Boat or whatever Blackish, right? But Star Trek's been doing those fucking shows forever,
right?
And it's in the future, where and you write something that would be embarrassing on St. Elsewhere in the 90s. I mean, come on, you guys.
Well, and it's also frustrating because there's so many other very topical, very ripe issues, and they just throw all of their eggs into that basket. And it's like, okay, we get it. I understand the allegory you think you're making. Now do something on refugees. Now do something on war. Now do something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
There's all these other issues you could be talking about and still have this LGBT thing interspersed into that, because again, plot is not story. Story is
story. Yeah, my problem isn't even that they're trying to do that. It's that they're doing it so poorly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like
bad execution. Yeah.
It's just it's
bad
just
execution.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
And speaking of not embarrassing, look at this.
Oh, there you go.
Ready to walk the streets, looking for your Hueys and transparent aluminum.
How do we know he didn't invent the bloody thing?
I don't know how many times I do that. Computer.
The keyboard. How quaint.
Yeah. Cracks his knuckles. Yeah, that's a cool insert shot too on the keyboard where his fingers just go like this.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Like, what is he doing? Even as a kid, I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, that's I was a little older, but even I was like, well, he's acting that he's typing, I guess, right?
It's fantastic. Like, he's literally just going like this.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it. But yeah.
I always liked Scotty. He was
Scotty's the best.
Scotty was cool.
Yeah, he's the best. So yeah.
All right, man.
Well, I think we solved all the world's issues.
We did.
And
I can't wait for Discovery to get better. Did you see the Wolverine Deadpool?
No. Kids asked me about it at school, and I was like, I don't have time for this.
There's a bit where they jump through one of Doctor Strange's portals, and it looks just like Captain Kirk and Spock.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I did for the thumbnail. So I cut that out, put in the Guardian of Forever. Nice. Already we're better than what Discovery did with the newspaper, and the Guardian's named Carl now.
Ugh, I don't acknowledge any of this. I don't. This is so clearly like there's only way to not go insane is to put it in an alternate timeline, which is fine. I have my headcanon.
What do you think's gonna, like, real quick? I know we're trying to wrap it up, but what do you think's gonna happen in like a couple of years? Because
they're gonna try to pump out a movie and it's gonna fail. And
Discovery movie?
Yeah, I think they're gonna
like a theatrical Discovery movie.
Well, like their TV movie thing, their Paramount Plus movie.
I don't think. I think that's gonna go away when nobody cares about Section 31.
Yeah,
people are just gonna be like. Kozamart's going to be like, why are people not buying these leather jackets?
As everyone goes back and buys TOS stuff.
Right. I actually need another Pike shirt. I've worn that one so much. When I take it off, I kind of like rip the neck a little.
Nice. I don't know. I think Discovery will. I think it'll be a Hayden Christensen situation. I think enough time will pass that those of us who were there will be like, yeah, this has always been the worst thing ever. And all the new kids growing up will be like, I don't see the problem. And
Spock's got a sister.
We'll just live
in
hell.
He's got 3 now.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I want to happen is everyone wakes the fuck up and realizes that this is the worst thing to ever happen, and we never talk about it.
That's what I'm hoping will happen. Just
That's what
the
I hope.
whole
Just,
like,
everyone just memory holds it and be like, yeah, this is a thing.
yeah.
Watch Strange New Worlds if you have to, and Lower Decks. You should watch Lower Decks. I want a Lower Decks fucking movie. That's what I want.
I want a Lower Decks live action show so bad.
Oh yeah, live action show would be amazing.
And I want it to be. Yeah, I don't think a movie with these guys.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen
because nobody's asking for it.
No, and Paramount is like a sinking ship. Like if they had money to throw around, maybe, but they don't.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing that happened when I was watching yesterday. Is that they always are like lowballing everything, and that was the thing with the uniforms. They can't make more uniforms, so just use what we got because this movie has to be $27 million. That's that.
Yeah, Paramount's such a weird company.
I agree.
You think they would like want to promote their biggest franchise?
They don't understand it. They don't understand why people care. They think it's like, hey, just redo Hawaii 5-0 and Magnum and fucking Quantum Leap, you know?
Right.
That's the level they're at.
Yeah,
I don't. Shit, just do it.
I don't get it.
That's not Star Trek, man.
Yeah,
I get it, but they don't.
Anyway. It's just frustrating because we want the franchise to move forward. We don't want a reboot. But what they're going to do is they're just going to try to reboot it again. And it's going to be awful.
What do you mean? Like the whole Kirk thing? They just try to get...
I hope not. I mean, they've already tried to reboot it a couple times. They'll try to reboot TNG because they know people love TNG. It's like the #1 streaming Star Trek like all the time.
I'm telling you, why don't they just do what I said, man? Right? Just take a Starfleet captain, smear him through time. Hey, he's crazy. Everything that's wrong.
I agree.
In every show, you can have an episode where you fix that. And there's a whole world where Captain Kirk's middle name is Richard. Okay, just fucking deal, right? I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Jimmy Dick. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think will happen? In all seriousness,
I think that really quickly, entertainment is going to go into the shitter, and community theater is going to get a resurgence.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it's going to take around 40 years, but I think that's what's going to happen because Hollywood is imploding. They don't know what to do. And all the streamers are trying to get their last money before the ship sinks.
All right.
And so and that's why I'm really excited my kid wants to go to film school.
Okay.
Because some new thing is going to happen and the kids are going to take over because the adults are just made it shitty.
Do you think we're in like a early 70s situation where everything's just imploding and we need the USC boys to come save us?
I think something like that is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be from a traditional area, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be some kind of weird ass Mr. Beast thing where like everybody is missing like their right eye tooth because that's what you have to get into the latest thing.
I like it.
And then there's going to be supermodels smiling on toothpaste ads where missing that eye tooth. And that's going to be like the status symbol, right? Like some weird ass thing like that is going to happen because, you know, the regular thing, nobody cares that this is the bit of stage 5 where this was the follow the yellow brick road. And that was the thing where
no one gives a shit.
No one gives a shit anymore because now it's a big fucking thing of TVs.
Yeah.
And when you move the camera, the background moves with it, but everybody else starts puking on the actors because, you know, just don't look behind you. You'll be good. You know what I mean? Because that's what movies are now. So
yeah,
all right, whatever.
They do make. I mean, the quality of like movie like CGI has just exponentially gotten better. Like it's not. Like, it's kind of weird to think like just 10 years ago. Yeah, Force Awakens is what, 2007.
Okay.
So like, no, Force Awakens is 2014.
Yeah, it's later. Walker and I
But
went to
like
that. So.
those early comic book movies, like the CGI is just so shitty, and now we have like TV shows that have like the best CGI level ever. It's just interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about the floating Pepto Bismol blood in Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some pretty rudimentary 3D blobs, right?
Yeah, and they weren't pulling their punches. Like, that was what they had. Like,
that was state of the art, but it was still pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But now, like, I always think about the first episode of Mandalorian, where I forget that guy's name, the comedian, Brian whatever. Fuck, I can't believe. Yeah, Brian Hussein. Yeah. He's in that land speeder thing. That's just like a fucking couple of chairs and a table and some fucking fake snow and the volume behind him, right? That looks like they're outside on a fucking ice floe.
Right.
It's unbelievable to me that in 10 years it's like, I can kind of see the fucking polygons on this.
Right. As
opposed to like, oh, yeah, here's my bathroom in my spaceship. It's like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was watching, what was I watching the other day? Some new show. And like, I wasn't even paying attention to this show. I was just looking at the backgrounds and like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, this is intense. Yeah. So I think in reality, what's going to happen is after the end of the Star Trek Discovery finale, Riker is going to say end program and we're all going to go to sleep.
I hope so. That would be amazing. Because that would shut everybody up about.
Right? I would hope so. Dude, I just want that to happen.
They don't have the balls.
No, they don't. Awesome. No. They don't have the
Wouldn't
balls.
That be awesome, though?
That would be amazing.
Computer, end program.
That would be amazing.
Play a little jazz.
And not even film it. Just have like an audio as the credits are rolling, and then the credits go to black and go computer end program. Like, that would be, oh my God. Now I want this.
And it was Frank saying that?
Yeah.
You don't even have to pay him. I'm
right. Sure you just do it.
They have him saying computer end program somewhere.
It's Frakes. He'll do anything for money.
Well, now I'm going to be disappointed if that doesn't happen.
I know. Now I'm all worked up. Now I want to see it. I mean, I don't, but I do,
I'd forgotten a couple days ago. Our cat's not doing too well. That's why I'm being extra nice to her. She's getting old. Yeah. So I had to miss my father-in-law's 83rd birthday party this weekend. So Walker and Mimi went up and I dealt with the cat. But so I put on that episode of Enterprise, These Are the Voyages, whatever the last one was called. Yeah. I forgot that whole subplot. It's not just Riker and Troy showing up at the end going, hey, we called up the events of that. That was interesting. It's like there's a whole B story that Riker is interacting with them as the chef on the Enterprise.
Yeah, he's the chef.
Why does this episode get shit? This is great. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's fantastic.
I remember thinking it was fine at the time, but I really enjoyed it the other day watching it.
I love it.
Nobody in the house, and I got to nobody's going, hey, we need to weed out front and take out the garbage and do that. Did you send that thing? I'm just like, I just vegged and went, yeah, this was fine. It's cool to see Jonathan Frakes, 20 years younger though.
Yeah.
Because Rick and I shot that thing. Have I brought that up? The Star Trek thing for MTV?
Oh, did you do something with Star Trek?
That was November of 92, right? And so that's what Jonathan Frakes looks like to me. All of those people, right? Because they just, So when I see them now, it's like, oh right, hey Larry, you had hair and your beard was dark, So like, it just doesn't seem like it's 35 years ago or whatever that is to me. Anyway,
I like it. Hey, Matt Shivers is here.
Back when I did back when I did that too, I had 0 Star Trek costumes.
Oh boy. Well,
I
we certainly made up for it.
might have had one. Shiver, what's Shiver said? Like my cat is right in the way. I can't read. Oh, Evie.
I don't see him. I don't see him at all.
She's right here. You can see.
Oh,
He's right here.
little kitty.
Yeah, she's like us all, getting a little old, you know.
It happens.
Yeah,
Happens to the best of them.
She's at the drunken old lady stage where she just doesn't care where she's peeing anymore.
Yeah,
so
I gotcha. She peeing right now?
I was looking. Probably.
Like, call me drunk.
Right. Yeah. I know I'm supposed to go in the kitty litter thing, but I've got kitty Alzheimer's. I don't know.
Aww.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I got, man.
All right.
How about you?
I'm.
We'll call it.
I'm done.
407.
I'm donezo. I'm about to go cuddle in my little jacket here. Watch some Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. That end of Andor where all the guys jump off. There's only one way out of the prison. That's a killer episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And fucking Gollum is like, I can't swim. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Jump. Just jump.
Yeah. Andy Serkis, I don't know. He's all right, but he needs to redeem himself a little from the early days of like, I'm a thespian.
Oh yeah.
You people don't understand the acting that I'm doing. It's
he was a little up his own ass for a while.
You know, I get it. I get it, but you never can convince somebody something by bitching at them. You know?
As a certified thespian, he was ready to tell it. All right, guys. Live long and prosper, and don't watch Star Trek Discovery.